Bucks get 3 seed. They host Washington. Cannot wait for this game. I think it's going to be a really good one. And by the way, what a 1 p.m. window yesterday. Absolutely carried by the NFC South. Thought it was going to be just a snooze fest. Thought the Bucks would roll. And this is the NFL, man. Like, there's a lot of prideful guys on that New Orleans defense. And I thought it was interesting to hear Tom call that game, having knowledge of that rivalry, having played New Orleans, having had trouble at times with New Orleans himself. Like, I don't feel like he was surprised that it was closer. For a lot of the game, I felt like it was marred by penalties and you're not being able to get the run game going for Tampa. New Orleans really played downhill. And I thought, for a guy who was at the center of the universe, like probably public enemy number one for most of America, Kool-Aid McKinstry having to guard Mike Evans when the whole world's got his over props, he actually did a pretty good job.
A really good job.
Yeah. And listen, the end of the game, it was wild to see. Like, it was really wild to see because the Bucks had so many opportunities to ice this thing on the final drive where they scored a touchdown and went up 8 points. They had a lot of opportunities to just get down. I think it was one Sean Tucker play where he probably could have hit the deck. You could argue they managed the clock a little differently. Maybe they don't give them another possession, right? But they did. They find a way to get the ball back, and the whole time you're thinking, like, are they gonna do this thing? Like, when I say Saquon needs to sit, I know there's a lot of Eagles fans that are probably like, what the fuck? It's like a great moment. We could have had the same moment. The Bucks were playing for something for 59 minutes in that game. To make the decision on whether or not to chase tying Jerry Rice's record for most seasons with 1,000 yards consecutively and give him a $3 million bonus, which I think is just as much a part of it, right? They like giving these guys these bonuses. It's different than the Saquon thing. It is. It's 5 yards.
100%.
It's 5 yards. And we said this, if Saquon needed 12 yards, trot him out there for the first quarter, trot him out there for a series.
Mm-hmm.
It's about mitigating risk, and the risk is much different for a running back trying to go for 100 yards than it is for a wide receiver in that moment in a vacuum trying to go for 5 yards. The risk is assumed by the team. The team was at risk for giving the ball back. And this, to me, is why that was such an interesting decision from Tampa, because you're playing at that point for the division. At this point, I don't think in that ball game, Carolina had beaten Atlanta yet. And it was so interesting. If you remember, there was a long sequence in Tampa Bay's game where they were trying to figure out a call. It was 1st and goal. Jalen McMillan did the gun thing, even though he didn't mean to do the gun thing. Like, now he
said his fingers were taped.
He's a gun. Yeah, he said my fingers were taped.
Which, real fast, how ironic is...
You see why you got to tape your fingers?
Put your thumb down.
You see my middle finger? That's why his fingers are taped. But, like...
One, real fast, how ironic is that? Someone pointed this out on Twitter. So he gets penalized for the gun, and then the Tampa Bay Cannons go off when they score the touchdown. Hey, 15-yarder. Oh, but you guys scored the touchdown. All right, plug your ears.
Boom.
Let's listen to that gun go off.
That's a wild sequence. No, but the thing about cannons is not a lot of people are running around with cannons anymore. Even though a cannon could do way more damage it's... You get in this thing, it's like, well, then we can't play certain rap music anymore at the games.
Right.
No one wants to be the fun police, but if we're not doing hey, listen, and I think this is the dumbest shit in the world. Hold on a second. Let me do it. Because, I live out here in the country, so sometimes I got to do it. That's the dumbest fucking thing in the world, bro. Hey, can I tell you how stupid that is? You're either saying, I want to be a gangster, or I am actually a gangster.
Yeah.
And either one's dumb because you're making millions of dollars playing in the NFL.
You don't have to be.
Bro, like, I got a gun on my waist is not like, I'm totally with you. Totally with you.
Yeah.
On that stuff. But then when you do this and that's supposed to be a gun, I don't agree with that. I think Jalen McMillan is just giving you the first down signal. But there was a moment in that game where there's a 4-minute period of real time where they're trying to sort out the fact that he got a first down and they got penalized 15 yards. So they're trying to decide. They've moved him back to like the 23. And for a second, they couldn't figure out what the fuck's going on. Dean Blandino's like, dude, just ask me. My beer pong guy. Just ask me. You know? And you know, it ends up being a thing where I'm looking at the other game. I'm like, holy shit, are they stalling to get these games to be congruent? Is that the word? I don't even think of the word, but they're going at the same time. And
simultaneous.
All they want is to get these two games to end at the same time. So you get this classic like split screen thing, and they almost did. But the point is, it just, if I'm New Orleans, and I don't know, man, supposedly they hate each other, the Saints and the Bucs, and they hated each other for 59 minutes. But when Mike Evans went in motion at the end of the game, it felt like they were all Mike Evans' best friend. Bro, if I were the Saints,
separation.
If I were the Saints, I'd say, oh, McKinstry, you're on this guy. Everybody's on Mike Evans. The minute the ball is snapped, you jump Mike Evans and you pick this ball off. And hey, we could win the game. We could go to OT. That could be 6 the other way. I'm not trying to make it seem like a damn I'm not trying to make it seem like it's a Gastineau thing. Yeah. That's some autograph signing. Jerry Rice is going to be on Kool-Aid McKinstry's ass or something. But like, you had a chance to ruin in the most epic fashion a division rival season. And if Marshawn Lattimore was still there, you know what he would have done?
Oh, he would have picked him up and just put him on the sideline.
Fly on the wall. Marshawn Lattimore watching that shit.
He was probably going crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no way, dude. And hey, I'm very glad he got it because I love Mike Evans. I think he's one of the most universally respected people. Also, Walter Payton Man of the Year candidate, nomination from his team. Does a lot of great work off the field. And hey, he doesn't need anybody's help to pick up 5 yards. But it felt like he got a little help. I'm not saying he didn't earn it, but if I was the Saints, I would have done some great. There's very few times in football that you can do something like totally off the wall.
Yeah. It definitely looked like he caught the ball, and then the Saints made sure to touch him down at like 8 yards, 7 yards. You know, you got the right. Okay, you're down.
That was wild.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they let him, but they could have made it very hard.
Everybody in the building.
Everybody in the building, dude.
Yeah. The millions watching at home. Eyes on 13.
Crazy. But I would say this. And pretty funny to look back at his career and say, you know, a streak like this, so many things have to happen. 1 year in 2017, he finished with 2,001 yards. Okay, week 17, he needed 54 yards. The last drive, he racks up 34 yards. That drive ends with 10 seconds to go.
That's amazing.
So, like, and then there's yesterday. I think 1 year he finished with 1,006 yards. Like, it's just all the things that go into a record like that, the consistency, the staying healthy. And I also think for Mike Evans, like, winning a Super Bowl with the Bucs, deciding to play his career out in Tampa, being proved right, making a connection with Baker Mayfield, going to the playoffs a couple of years now in a row post Tom Brady. This team has won the division 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, they deserve. When I picked them to win the division, I picked them because of the organizational continuity and the vision. And, you know, even though the defense at times this year, and I still think is a problem, looks like Swiss cheese. I've been so impressed with what they've been able to accomplish, albeit in a division that it feels like nobody wants to win. They'll take it. And Mike Evans gets this special moment in Tampa. I'm so glad he's not doing it somewhere else. somewhere weird. And Jalen McMillan, as good as the moment was for Mike Evans, if they don't have Jalen McMillan playing the way he did late in this game, they don't have the division. He's played great the last 6 weeks.
Yep.
I think 7 touchdowns last few games.
I mean, totally just a stud, and they needed that because Chris Godwin, I mean, you talk about the first matchup with Washington, they're about to repeat that and went their way. Godwin had a huge day. They're going to need this guy to step up. And for a while there, it felt like both teams were going to finish losers and Tampa would back their way in, be the most NFC South thing. But Bryce Young, man, watching Bryce and Penix battle it out on the other TV.
Awesome.
There's a lot of hope for this division in the future.